So, but anyway, let's get into this show. What do you guys say?
Yeah,
The first thing we're going to be talking about is Pixar's new movie Elementals, or Elemental. Seems to be in a little bit of trouble. So the early reviews for Pixar's new movie Elemental have not been good, and it's also suffered from an insanely bad marketing campaign or lack of marketing campaign. And so fans of Pixar have been like, what the hell is this movie? I haven't even heard of this movie. It's set to come out this summer. And people are saying it's on track to perform worse than Lightyear, which was Pixar's other big bomb. And this is yet another example of a Disney property that has been kind of run into the ground with wokeness and SJW nonsense. And also a very bad lack of marketing. Like it used to be when a Pixar movie came out, it was like an event, like or like excited to go see
right.
it.
It was everywhere.
It was something the whole family could go and enjoy. Like The Incredibles, Toy Story, all this stuff. And now it's just kind of like nobody knows when these movies are coming out. Nobody knows what the movies are about. Nobody's hyped for them. Most parents don't want to take their kids to see them until they can screen them. Pre-screen them for their kids, make sure there's nothing offensive in there. And of course, a month later, they're out on Disney Plus. So like, why bother go to the theater? So Matt Bader 74.
Yeah.
What's your take on the idea that Elemental is going to be another big flop for Pixar?
I think it absolutely is going to be another big flop, and it's for all the reasons you just listed. You can't trust Disney anymore. On top of the terrible marketing, they just have a bad rep right now. I mean, I've seen the trailer for this a couple times for movies that we've gone and seen, but other than that, I don't know anything about this. I haven't seen it on TV. I haven't seen it in other streamers. I haven't seen it really anywhere that I can think of off the top of my head. But I have seen the trailer a couple times, like I said, for other movies we went and saw at the theater, and it just looks like another weird Disney movie. And they're trying to subtly, not so subtly, give us lessons that I don't really know if I want them teaching my kids. I mean, it's not like it's a huge lesson or not. The fires don't mix with the waters, and the airs don't mix with the whatever. It's just leave the preachiness at home, entertain us. You know what I'm saying?
It's a definition of preaching.
These are a far cry from the Toy Story movies and Up and all those things that made Pixar great. You know what I mean? The old Pixar movies are fantastic, but they're just there to entertain and to make us feel good. And I don't get that when I see a Pixar commercial or anything anymore. These it's just, I'm not interested. I used to be able to look at those and go, I want to take my grandkids to that movie. Or I want to take my kids to that movie back in the day, but now I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way at all. And it's too bad because it used to be a really good company. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, Brian, one of the interesting things about Pixar is that when it first started, it was like one of the few companies doing really high level computer animation. And now it feels like that's just the standard, and Pixar hasn't really innovated or done anything new or different. And it used to be when John Lasseter was in charge of Pixar, like it was always a focus on the story. There was never like any there were morals to the story, but the message never took precedent over the story and the characters and stuff like that. And now with Disney basically going woke and parents not trusting them anymore, people are so much more kind of cynical about movies coming out from Disney, especially the animated ones. So what's your take on Elemental and just the general state of Pixar in general?
I like the idea of Elemental. It's like someone at some point pitched this as, think about how creative we can get with all these different elements in this world or whatever, right? And it's totally a hyper creative thing. And I'm looking forward to checking out what the motion graphics and story writers, were able to do with these different ideas of these elements and all that, and sort of weave this universe together on how these things can all exist in the same place. However, on the flip side of that, there was some other guy in the room or person in the room, or non-binary person in the room, I don't know, who was like, yeah, and you know what? We can make it all about race. And everyone was happy that day. And the thing is, it just the trailer alone, like when the trailer comes off as too preachy, that's when you know, you're losing my ticket to the theater with my kids, because I don't even know what's gonna be in there. Who knows? And it's just so damn preachy, man. The idea is cool, the universe is cool, but it's gonna be an allegory for race, 100%.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if we would have seen the same thing in a trailer 10 years ago. Are we just so hypersensitive to this stuff now that we immediately latch onto that when we see something in the trailer?
I think a little, yeah.
Well, I don't think that the message behind Elemental is a bad one, where basically like people who are different can learn to like get along and even love each other. I think at the core, the moral of the movie is pretty good. But again, it goes down to Brian's "is it too preachy" thing. And John David, one of the criticisms of the movie from people who've seen it is that it's super dark. Like it's darker for like a children's film. It's not as like fun or whimsical or funny. You know, it's more of a kind of like Romeo and Juliet style star-crossed lovers story, and it just isn't fun. So as a writer, you know, you've seen previous Pixar movies and you've seen like how good they can be. Where's Pixar gone wrong?
Pixar, I think, they've certainly lost their way. That Romeo and Juliet analogy is new to me. I've only seen one commercial for it. And just basically you see the fire elemental setting fire to an umbrella, and it's just, okay, it actually kind of seemed like almost cookie cutter. Pixar has actually kind of gone to just stock footage, cookie cutter type storylines, it seems to me. When I'm watching the commercial, I'm immediately thinking of Inside Out, how kind of fun and whimsical that was. But even that it got a little bit deep. It's, you know, the whole psyche and whatnot, and what they did to the imaginary friend and that sort of deal. And Pixar has really lost its way in regards to that. They got critical acclaim, they won awards, and they made millions of dollars by putting people's butts in seats, and people just everyone just ate it up, and they've just completely lost their way in regards to this. Guys, you had your cake and you ate it too. I don't know what the heck did you do? I think they just lost the innovation, really, in regards to that.
Yeah, I think after John Lasseter got Me Too'd, he was really like the creative vision behind Pixar. He was the guy who kind of like made sure that a Pixar movie was special, you know, and ever since he's been gone, the company just seems to have been on a pretty steady downward decline, to the point where like I don't even think you can tell the difference between a Pixar movie and Disney animation movies anymore, right? Like Strange Worlds, right? That was a Disney film, but it looked like a Pixar movie. Wouldn't you say, Brian?
Yeah, you're right. And I gotta be honest, I didn't like. Everyone talks about how good that movie is. I didn't like that movie, and I found it a little subversive, and I found it boring. It felt like the plot was something that I've seen 15,000 times, and they didn't add anything to anything. They didn't, you know, change anything. It wasn't special in any way. And that seems like the way a lot of animation's going right now. Animation doesn't seem to be pushing any boundaries, at least no real boundaries. The boundaries they're pushing now is how preachy they can get, or how inclusive they can get, or how they can, you know, how they can celebrate Pride Month the hardest, instead of actually pushing the boundaries of animation and storytelling. They're you know, checking how many boxes they can check, and that ultimately, like, the worst part about this like whole culture we're living in regards to art, is that it's gonna hurt the art for a long time before people are brave enough to just create art without having to check boxes, because the art of pushing the box checking boundaries are taking over the real boundary pushing that should take place in regards to animation and storytelling. Sucks.
Pardon me.
And go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just about to say that I saw a list. Someone compiled a list of 10 animated films that were released in the 2000s that completely bombed. One of them was Titan AE, which is a great film, and I think that movie really that film. You gotta love Don Bluth for giving us something new, giving us something different, and also it's animated. They could have made it live action, but chose to make it animated.
Yeah.
And I think when people push the boundaries, people give us something different, that often bombs. But the sad part is that Pixar was giving us great stories and great entertainment as well. When you take a look at Up, those first 5 minutes of Up, holy crap!
Yeah.
Man, that just
my daughter is named after the Ellie character in that movie. My wife watched that movie and cried like for every first 5 times she watched the movie she would cry. So when we finally got pregnant and had kids, she named my daughter Ellie because that movie is so powerful. It's such a powerful testament to like the ins and outs of life, the ups and downs, you know, and how you react to it.
It's also a great Indiana Jones style adventure film too.
Right. It's like it hits every single corner of the storytelling art. It's a beautiful movie, man. It's making me want to go watch it right now.
And to Brian's point about like no innovation in animation, I'd go a step further and say that people don't know how to make family-friendly movies anymore.
True that.
Like the brilliant formula that Pixar stumbled onto was that it was fun and engaging for adults and kids, right?
Yep.
And it seems like nowadays all the animation is just filled with adult propaganda for whatever political leaning you have, and dumb jokes for kids. And so like, even though a kid might enjoy it because like their taste in film isn't all that refined, adults who are forced to sit there and watch it with their kids aren't having a good time. Vader, do you think that there's like a big lack of like good family friendly fodder out there?
I do think there is. I don't know quite how to approach that question, but as far as I'm not a refined moviegoer, so I have no problem watching cartoons. I want to get Titan AE on our show, but it's never going to happen because Jude doesn't watch animated movies.
Bro, Titan AE is one of those movies that you watch and you go, oh man, I would have loved to have seen this live action, and then realize it could never have happened. It would have cost $600 million to do live action.
I guess I'm an outlier because I didn't like Titan AE.
But no, I don't really have much to add other than just modern animated movies are not family entertainment. They're not that great. They're big and splashy and kind of weak on the storytelling aspects, I think. So yeah, I don't know. Is what it is, I guess. Disney preachy, subtle, subversive nonsense.
Hey guys, if you could do me a quick favor, if you like this episode and it tickles your fancy, or any other episode that we've done in the past, share it on social media and tag us in that post so that we know you're talking about us, and we will immediately jump onto that app and we will respond to your tag, and we can talk about what you like about the episode and possibly talk about something that we might want to cover in the future. And we would love to bring you in our community. We have a wonderful Discord app as well. There's a bunch of people in there that just love chatting with us. And we'd love to hear from you. So if you like this podcast, tag us in that post and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you guys so much. Back to the podcast.
Okay, so real quick, we got a super chat from Whiskey Jack for £2. Shooting for Inside Out magic ain't happening in regards to our Pixar discussion. This is true. Inside Out was pretty good, but Elemental, it feels like it's going for the same thing, but it just seems like it's not quite living up to it. And we got another super chat from Whiskey Jack for £2. Pixar used to hit you in the feels hard. No more. Yeah, I remember the most brilliant filmmaking I think I've seen in a long time was that opening for Up, where basically they bring you through the entire relationship of this couple up to the point where like the wife dies. And it's just so poignant and wonderful, and it's all done without words. pretty much. Like it was just beautiful.
Walt would have been proud.
Welcoming to the stream yet again, Tom Connors Jr. from Midnight's Edge. How you doing, Tom?
Well, I come into the chat and you're talking about Superman and how old Matt is. And now I come in and you got some poignant stuff you're saying. I'm like, well, what am I coming in here? Some gay shit.
Yeah, so we got some old gay shit. Do you want to chime in on this, Tom?
I disagree a little bit on the whole disconnection with stuff. I think the stuff that kids have nowadays is not going to resonate into the future as much. There's other generations that have had lost art, and I think this is going to be another one because it's going to be so embarrassing when they get, down the line.
We all agree with you. I don't know.
Totally I know. Well, and the reason I say this is because, I know. I was an old guy yelling at clouds all morning on Twitter, if you read my Twitter.
Oh, yeah, I do.
But,
it's a very fun read. If you guys ever want to just sit there and allow your blood pressure to boil while drinking your coffee, go to Tom's Twitter.
Yep.
I get pissy about a lot of things. But no, like these kids, like I said this morning, like they're sampling songs that were sampling songs. Right? They're not even sampling the original song.
Yeah,
right.
Like
they're sampling the song that was already sampled.
Right.
So they're eating their own tail at this point, and none of this shit is original. Have you listened to some of the lyrics and crap?
Bro, I saw an entire TikTok where this guy was talking about. He was like, "My son thinks his music is original," and then he shows him his music.
Yeah.
And then someone duetted that as a grandfather. My son thinks his son's music is original, and they duetted, and he showed that his music was sampled from the song in the 50s. So you have 50s and the 90s and now the 2000s, and they're all sampling the same music, dude.
Well, not only that, what is the music saying? Nothing. It's the same thing with the movies. They think they're saying a lot, but they're not. And I think they'll realize that down the road. But
WAP says a lot, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Wet. I can't even say 2 words.
It makes "Push It" by Salt and Pepper look like something that Beethoven wrote.
I know. You're totally right, bro. Like we used to think "Push Up" was like that's pushing the edge here, guys. We'll calm down. Next, hold my beer.
Two Live Crew are fucking poets.
I can't even say 2 of the words in the title of the song.
Oh,
it's incredible. And they got Song of the Year, bro. I don't know. We're losing.
Hey guys, if you like this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and comment below on your favorite video as well. That goes a long way with helping us boost our channel and get out there in front of more people. And it lets YouTube know that we're doing something right. And if you want to catch us live, we go live 2 times a week, once on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time and on Tuesdays at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So join us there in the chat. We will see you on the live stream. Stay salty.